Good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome again to my man cave. Brother Jeff's with us in Orlando, and Tanya's upstairs running the with the help of Lily. Lily's showing Tanya her butthole. She likes to do that to us. Ryan, glad you could make it in with us tonight. It's been a fun week here at the man cave. I tell you, we've had a lot of rain during the month of September, but this week's been gorgeous. It was a little cloudy on Monday, but it's been beautiful, and it's not been too hot all week. I'm enjoying what we're getting with the weather. Eric, glad you could make it in with us. We got, let's see, Brian and Ryan and Andy is with us. Andy's coming in from Pennsylvania. Andy, Andy has been over in Switzerland. He's been
Ooh.
posting. Yeah, he had a daughter,
Wedding.
I believe, got married
Hmm.
in Switzerland, and Andy's been over there posting some really beautiful scenic pictures of this place where his daughter was married, or maybe it was his son. Andy, was that your daughter or your son getting married over there? The pictures you've been posting were gorgeous. Russ, glad you could make it. We got Hank and Mike and uh, Ed. Excellent. Awesome. Well, I like to kick off with a drink like we do. You know, Thursday night, now's my bourbon night. So I'm going to hit this Southern Star Paragon once again. This is from a local distillery in a town about, what, Tanya, 40 miles, 30 or 40 miles east of here called Statesville, North Carolina. This distillery is right here, and I stopped in there a while back and got to taste some of this stuff, and I came home with this bottle, and it's pretty good. And yeah, Andy says it was his daughter that got married. That'd be fun. Randy, West Virginia. So cheers, Jeff. You having a drink with us?
Absolutely. Chapter number 7.
I don't know if Tanya's had time to stop what she. Oh, she got some ginger ale going. Okay, Tanya's been busy tonight. She
Yeah,
was
every Thursday night's busy.
she has a. Is it a class or a once a week meeting you're doing at 7 o'clock?
It is class.
Yeah. And then I
It's,
thought I heard you on the phone with a student.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I've had some fun here. Fran, glad you could glad you could make it in with us tonight too. All right, Tanya, we're gonna bring you back. So you and Lily keep things going up there. Uh, Jeff, you're getting ready to go on a cruise. Where?
Yep.
T- Tell us about it.
It's just a little 3-day cruise over the Bahamas on the new Disney Wish.
Is Gracie going on that cruise?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh boy. I was
Yeah,
gonna
it's just
say,
Kathy, myself, taking my son, and Gracie.
yeah, I bet she's gonna love that. Has she
Oh,
been
yeah.
on a cruise boat before?
Oh, yeah, but she really doesn't remember it. It was back when she was like 3, just about 4. So,
Gerard from the Netherlands. Awesome. Glad you
but
could
this is
make it
our
in
new
with
ship.
us.
It's Marvel themed.
Yeah.
It should be cool.
We don't often have the Netherlands. We don't get Europe in here as much, especially since I went to 8:30 in the evening. It's I guess after midnight in the Netherlands.
Well, 8:30 on Thursday, changing to Thursday, I think. Get it out.
Right. Yeah. But maybe I've seen Gerard on Facebook before. I'm gonna have to look him up again. I of course I follow some of the stuff that Royal Wester does, the Pitmaster X. I can't keep up with everything he does. He's pumping out so much content. I just don't have time to watch all of it. But yeah, Carla, glad you could make it. Ed's been in Amsterdam, so Amsterdam. I'd love to get over there sometime. I've never been, and
Yeah, it's pretty.
well, maybe I can talk Tanya into Yeah, I know. I wouldn't have to talk Tanya into that. There would be no talking to have to be done there.
Well,
So
that's a trip you need to plan on 2 to 3 weeks and just go ahead and do Amsterdam, Germany,
yeah.
Switzerland, maybe pop down
Well,
to Italy. Do it all while
when
you're there.
when we hit the Powerball, that's what we're going to do. We're gonna go over. I'm gonna take a duffel bag with some clothes in it, and we're gonna just buy your rail pass and
Yep.
just go. Uh, there's so many places over there I'd like to go. But anyway,
Why take a duffel bag with clothes if you hit big enough? Just buy the clothes as you go.
well, all I
Don't
need is
have to wash.
we'll go in the summertime, and all I need is a few pairs of shorts and some t-shirts and my uh, a pair of sandals or something,
No,
and we'll
no,
be
no,
set.
no. It still gets cool over there in the summertime, John.
Well, it's not gonna get
Trust me.
that cool.
Uh,
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that here in a minute, Jerry. I got the pictures of the barrel. So yeah. All right. Jeff did a little cooking this week. There's Gracie. Gracie, are you ready to go cruising?
she said, "Are you ready to go cruising?" Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Are you leaving real early in the morning?
Nah.
No. Is it an evening departure?
Uh, Supposed to leave between 3:30 and 7:30, depending on. I mean, they still have some
Yeah.
COVID restrictions
And
and
that way
whatnot.
you'll be rolling into Nassau when the sun comes up in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Hi, sweetie.
John's asking me about the kettle, Joe. Put the gasket on the lid or on the slow roller. John, I put it on both.
Yep.
I put it on the lip of the dome lid, and I put it on the base of the slow roller. So I've got it in both places. Uh, and let me tell you, the kettle Joe is a lot like the acorn. The more you use it, the tighter it gets, and the easier it gets to control. I didn't think I was ever going to get control of my kettle Joe because the top vent on that thing is just not sealed at all. But once you get a little bit of cooking on it and get those gaskets broken into where they make a good seal, the bottom vent's tight enough that you can control the airflow well enough to control the temperature in it. But I put gasket on both. Jeff, did you do the same thing?
Yeah. I was one of the first ones to put gasket on it. It definitely made
Yeah,
a huge improvement.
I
That and I cut
actually
out a
did
door
it
for my fireboard.
right. I actually used two the first gasket I put on there didn't work. It was too thick and too firm, and I pulled it off and I think it was a half inch. What I settled in on was half-inch wide, eighth of an inch thick gasket. I don't remember the specs on it, so
Well, I bought the big green egg felt gasket for mine.
yeah. Was it was that is that one not too wide for
Yeah,
the
it's only
kettle?
about a half inch wide.
Oh, okay, well that would work.
Yep.
Brian, oh, that's a good question. Uh, let me go ahead and hit that while I'm thinking about it because I don't have that on topic tonight. I got a new apron in the mail today, and I still do have this apron. I've actually got three different aprons. They're really nice. Uh, the only thing I don't like about those is they're hot in the summertime. Even though that's light leather, Jeff, you've got one, don't
Yep.
you?
Yeah, in
Am
the
I wrong?
summertime, I sweat bad on it.
Yeah, I don't like it so much in the summertime. I bought a new apron last week and it just came in today and I haven't even had a chance to do much with it, but I washed it. It's that Headley and Bennett, and it's a cotton apron that I really like. And after I get a chance to play with that thing a little bit, I'm going to probably show it some. I'll probably start wearing it in some of my videos. I bought it. I paid. I don't have any affiliation with that company, but I've seen enough of those that I wanted to try one. So I tried one of their basic ones. It's like it's lists for 80 or 85 bucks, and so far I think I'm probably going to be really happy with that one. We'll see. But the Zapron, the answer is I do like that, but uh, it's not gonna be my go-to. I might wear it for certain things. If it's cold out, I might wear it, but even then, I'm not looking for an apron to keep me warm, but that thing is just too warm in the summertime to be comfortable in. If it's out on my deck out there on the back, my deck is on the west side of the house. So in the afternoon and late afternoon, it's baking out there. I don't have any shade. I don't have much shade out there to work in, and that apron's too hot for me. But in terms of looking nice, the Zapron's top notch. It looks nice. It's very well made. They're handmade, and they're made in the Netherlands. I can't remember the guy's name, but that company's out of the Netherlands, and they're excellent quality. The one other thing I don't like about the Zapron, that padding, Jeff, that's on the neck strap, that's particularly hot as well. And wearing it for long periods of time, that piece tends to irritate the back of my neck a little bit. But we'll see.
It gets drenched.
Yeah. This Hedley and Bennett, that's HedleyandBennett.com. Check their stuff out too. But I don't. That's all I can say about the aprons. I don't like how hot they are in the summertime. Other than that, they're good. They cost a bit more, but you can pick and choose what you like in terms of value on that. I like the color options that they have. I don't like the glossy finished one that I have. I like the one that's kind of like split leather, and I think that one costs a little bit more. But they are real leather. They're not faux leather, or the higher end ones aren't anyway. So anyway, Jeff, since we're going to talk, this is one of the cooks I'm going to talk about this week. Jeff did a smoked cream cheese. I guess you did that one day before yesterday.
Yeah, I just had to get rid of. I had a 3-pound block of cheese sitting in the refrigerator that was coming up on the expiration, and it was going to expire while we were on the cruise. So I took half of it and split it and put Lane Spellbound on it. That came out good. And then the next picture should have the apple cider barbecue sauce.
Tell me about your smoke here. What did you do?
Put it on the bark at 190 for about an hour and a half. I should have gone longer, but it was getting late and I wanted to eat it.
Right. Hour and a half at 190 on the bark.
Yeah.
Did it pick up some good smoke?
Oh, it picked up fabulous smoke. I mean, well, when I say it picked up fabulous smoke, it picked up fabulous smoke down probably about into an inch into it. But remember, these 3-pound blocks look at it as like a block of Velveeta cheese. It's about
that's a 3-pound block.
Yeah. Well, that's half of the 3-pound block.
Oh man, I used I used a half-pound block.
Right. So I mean,
I didn't realize there was nothing there for me to gauge the size on. I didn't realize that was that big.
Yeah, it's almost 3 inches thick. So like I say, it probably I probably should have left it on there 3 hours. Yeah. But I was just trying to make something with it that I could eat quick, and then I put that apple cider grilling sauce on it.
I'm not familiar with that. What's that got in it?
It's American Gardens. Hang on a second, let me grab it.
But guys, when you're going to smoke cream cheese, the star of the show is going to end up being what you put on top of it to go with it. That's a game changer. So
yeah, this has apple cider, brown sugar, cider vinegar, onions, cornstarch, salt, spices, and natural smoke flavor, and it looks like that.
Ryan wants to know where you found a 3-pound block of cream cheese.
Costco.
Well, they would have it there, I'm sure.
Yep.
So yeah,
that's when I was going through all the cream cheese for my keto chicken white chili.
And I think Jeff's also been cooking for Gracie again this week.
You think? Yeah, that was her lunch, or actually that was Alex's lunch. He wanted lamb chops. We were having it for dinner, so.
I'll tell you what, I don't get lamb chops for lunch. Maybe I need to start. I don't know.
Well, swing on by Orlando, John. I'll make you some lamb chops.
I've had dry aged ribeyes for lunch in the past, and I may have another one of those next week. I'm going to get one of those out of the freezer, and I need to get another whole ribeye going sometime soon. But we've got, well, we've only got a couple more months until Publix will have those 6.99 ones again.
Yeah, I'm gonna load up this time when they, of course, man, that's hard to say because that one I had last year was the first one wasn't that good. The second one was real good,
Right.
and I just smoked the cheese, not the topping.
Yeah, Fran, the topping goes on after you smoke the cheese.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to do that. I don't know. You could, but I wouldn't
I
do
don't
it.
think your cheese would get the smoke. I think
Right.
the whatever topping you're using, glaze, etc., is gonna kind of form a shell to keep it from getting in there.
When I get into my stuff, I'll show you. I'm going to show you what I did, because what I did was basically the same thing Jeff just did, but I made a. I won't say I made it. Well, I made it from scratch, but I didn't. I used preserves, which is the starting point. Brian says he's going to stop by and get some of those lamb chops.
Well, I won't be back until late Monday.
All right. So last week I did this. I did a thing. I went on Facebook Marketplace and found myself another 55-gallon drum to build a drum smoker with, and I got this one for $25, and I jumped on this one particularly because it doesn't have a liner in it, and those are the best ones to work with. Now everybody gonna panic because of the toxic symbol on there, and yes, it does have toxic material in it. This drum came from a foam manufacturer, and it's had glue in it, and actually there's still glue in it, and I've got a part of the process when I prep that barrel is going to be getting that glue out, and I'm going to do that in a two-stage process. I'm going to use some acetone to dissolve as much of the glue out as I can, and then I'm going to burn the rest of it out. I'm going to invert that drum, and I'm going to take my weed burner, and essentially what happens is I'll heat the drum up red hot, and anything that's left in there is coming out. It's burning out, and it will be safe to cook in. There won't be a problem with that. But one of the reasons I want to do this is I want to paint. I'm going to paint the outside of this one and make it into something that I think will be special and something that I'll enjoy cooking on. I've got to do some prep work first. I got a friend locally here that builds a lot of these drums, and I'm still trying to decide how I want to. Let me just go to the next picture, and you can see what's inside this drum. It's a mess. There's a lot of crud in there. There's a lot of glue residue, but there's no liner, so I don't have to worry about the liner. It's just bare metal in there. But in the meantime, I've just stuck this thing in my storage shed out back. I don't know when I'm going to actually get started working on it. But I've still got the fire basket from my last one that I bought, and I'll employ that in this. And there's only a couple other small pieces I need to pick up to make this thing into a smoker. But I'm trying to decide how I want to aspirate this thing. I can't make up my mind if I want to do natural or if I want to just make a place to put the fireboard on it. I could do both, I guess. And
I'll do both, John.
Jeff, here's a situation. Maybe you can give me an idea. And guys, the last one of these I built, I made a mess that I never did really get solved. I bought one of the slider vents that goes on the Kamado Joe Big Joe, or actually it may have been the Kamado Joe Classic. Actually, it was. I bought a Kamado Joe Classic slider vent, just like the bottom vent on a Kamado Joe, and I cut a hole in the down low on that thing. And then the problem I ran into was bolting that thing on. I could not get in there. I guess it's a two-person job. You got to get one person down inside the bottom of that barrel to hold a washer, and somebody else turning the bolt on the outside to get that thing bolted on there good. But
You don't have gorilla arms, John?
No, I'm short and fat, man. I don't have that barrel's 36 inches or taller. I don't remember what the height on that barrel is, but
Well,
I can't get on
John,
the
what
north
I would
side
do
of
with this one is use a ball valve in it, and then get the ball
well,
valve adapter for the fireboard. Call
the
it a day.
well, I could do that, but what I'd have to figure out is if one ball valve by itself would produce enough airflow if I didn't want to use the fireboard. Uh, because I've cooked on drums enough that I know these things are far more stable than a Kamado when it comes to keeping a temperature stable. But I'm just curious if one ball valve would be enough because I had two on the other ones I built, and they were, I don't remember what the
I would say you
diameter.
probably need two, one on each side.
Well, is there a ball? If I'm going to put a ball valve in there, I'm not going to use the fireboard fan because I don't like the way the fireboard fan mounts into that stuff. I'll buy one of the Flame Boss, or actually, I'll buy one of the Barbecue Guru Pit Vipers uh, because
Well, fireboard's got that ball valve adapter.
yeah, but I don't like the way the fireboard fan mounts into it. I don't. Uh, the fireboard fan is square on the out or
Yeah.
rectangular on the outside edge, so I don't like the way those sliding clamps hold that thing together. That I don't. That's the main thing I don't like about the fireboard fan. But I don't have to. That's not a problem for me on my classic. I just stick the fan under the little lip on the left side of the classic slider, and then close the door up against it and let that hold in there, and it
Yeah.
works great. But I'll figure that out because I'm going to have to think about some things before I do this. I may just naturally aspirate it, and I may buy two of the vertical air inlets for these things and take it to a place down the road and have them welded on there for me. Uh, they make bolt-ons and they make it weld-on, and I think in the long run, I'd rather have it welded on than bolted on. But we'll see. This smoker is going to come to fruition sometime in the next 6 to 8 months. I'm not in any hurry to get that guy going, but I do want to start smoking on an ugly drum smoker again. I kind of miss that. You ever cooked on a drum or a Weber Smoky Mountain, Jeff?
Only drum I've cooked on is a 55-gallon drum turned sideways, turned into a
Yeah.
barbecue.
Eric, I don't know if that really fills a niche uh, because I've got Kamados, I've got the pellet grills,
It
and
fills a niche, a desire niche. I desire to
it's
cook on
just
it.
yeah, that's basically it. It's a fun tool to cook on, and what I really would like to find, and I really should have looked for this before I did this, is one of the 30-gallon drums. They're a little bit harder to come by, but they're 18-inch diameter, and they're like the Weber Smoky Mountain 18-inch instead of the 20. That's going to be 22-inch diameter, and I'll have two cooking levels on it, and I'll just use the Weber grill grates in there. So there's a lot of cooking space with this. I guess that would be one thing it would produce for me is I would have a high capacity charcoal smoker at that point. I'd have far more cooking space. That would give me more cooking space than I can have on the two Kamados that I've got now. I could cook easily 8 pork butts on that
Well, John,
drum.
you know what I see that thing being used for too?
What?
Hang sausage.
Yeah, they make
It'd be an
hanging.
ideal sausage hanger.
They make kits that you can install into these drums for hanging stuff as well. But kind of like the pit barrel cooker, I could cut a couple of holes and run rebar through there and hang all kinds of stuff. But I just don't know that I had a pit barrel cooker and I just didn't enjoy using it that much. I don't know that I enjoyed it enough to bring that back. So, but yeah, if I needed to hang sausage, I definitely could do that, and I could also quite easily rig up hangers underneath a grill grate that would sit there. So there's a lot of opportunity there for that for sure.
Speaking of
So
which, did you see in Pellet Grill Addicts the guy who took the hooks for the hanging sausage, hung it from his racks, and then put his skewers of meat going across, so the skewers are horizontal? You have
I
to
don't
check
think
that out. It was
so.
pretty cool.
Heck, for all that's worth, you could hang stuff in these barks. You could put that
Oh yeah,
put the rack in the top position and hang stuff there as well. So because there's plenty of
yep.
room for that. So smoked Cheez Its. I haven't posted this video yet, but I've got the video made. This is something Tanya and I were going to a party at one of her coworkers' house last Friday, and she wanted to take smoked Cheez Its. So I went to Sam's Club. Sam's Club's got these huge boxes. These are 48-ounce boxes. They're like four of the boxes that you get at the grocery store, and I wanted to smoke a whole box of them. And this is something I've done so many times. And I'm going to admit something up front. These pictures that you're getting ready to see are the first batch that I made, and I messed them up. I ended up chucking these and making another batch, but we'll talk about that too. Uh, and the reason I chucked it's because of the seasoning I put on it. It was too powerful. It was one. It was. I used the Man Cave Meals or the Man Cave Magic #3, which is a something I would use for beef or poultry, but it was I used too much of it. It's the first time I tried using it in this uh, setup, and it was overpowering. So I had to do them again. So basically, smoked Cheez Its. You use Cheez Its, Worcestershire sauce. I like to use extra virgin olive oil and barbecue rub. That's all you got to have. So what I did, I didn't take intermediate pictures here. I don't guess this is one tray, and I did one of those boxes. Big boxes gives you four half sheet pans full of Cheez Its. But for what I did for one 12 ounce for 12 ounces, which is one 12-ounce box or half of one of the bags in here, I use a quarter of a cup of Worcestershire sauce. And what I like to do is put the Cheez Its in a big mixing bowl, dump the Worcestershire sauce in, and toss the Cheez Its in the Worcestershire sauce first, just to try to get some of that Worcestershire on all the Cheez Its. And then I put the olive oil in and toss it again. If you put them in together, the olive oil kind of repels the Worcestershire sauce and makes it harder for the Worcestershire to get to the crackers. So I put the Worcestershire in first, then the olive oil. So I use a quarter of a cup of Worcestershire, a third of a cup of olive oil, and then I put in barbecue rub. And I would say you're going to use 2 to 3 tablespoons of whatever rub you might like to use in that, and stir it up and get them as evenly coated as you can, and then just dump them out on a sheet pan like this. And I had four sheet pans, and well, of course, my pictures somehow or another have gotten out of order here. I hate it when that happens. Let me have a look at that. But then you just got to put them on the smoker. Let me fix this picture. We'll come back to that one. I fired up the bark, and I ran the bark at 225, and these guys go for 2 hours, or was it an hour? I don't remember if I went for 1 hour or 2 hours now. I have to go back and look, but they picked up a lot of smoke during that time. That olive oil is like a smoke magnet. Oil or smoke sticks to that, and these pick up a beautiful smoky aroma. When you put these things, when you take these guys out and put them in a Ziploc bag or something, they when you open that Ziploc bag, you get a head full of smoke. They just pick up a good amount of smoke, and everybody I've given these things to, they love them. Tanya loves them, and Jeff, have you ever tried making these?
No, I have not, John.
You got to do that sometime.
Well, I was going to, but like I say, being on the keto diet, the Cheez Its really wasn't.
I'm gonna tell Gracie that she needs to get you to make some.
Oh, okay. I think she'll take the lamb chops over the Cheez Its.
I don't
I
know,
could be
man.
wrong, but
I might take some of that action. That's how good these things are. So that's the video. I'm probably going to post that video next week. I wanted to do the smoked cream cheese video and post it this week, and that video's edited, and I'm probably going to. I can't make up my mind if I'm going to post that video tomorrow or Saturday. I might wait till Saturday to post that video. We'll see. Uh, yeah, Tom says those Cheez Its are too high carb, which they are. They're not keto friendly.
no.
So some of the rest of what I did this week, uh, I had some hot peppers that needed to be harvested. I've got a bucket garden growing out here. I've got two jalapeno pepper plants. I've got one habanero and one ghost, and the jalapenos are coming off. I've gotten a lot of jalapenos. I think two is a sweet spot, and I really might only need one jalapeno plant. They put a lot of peppers out, and I was late getting these out this year, so I've only recently started to get a good harvest. This really is the first batch of habaneros that I've harvested, and this is the first batch of ghost peppers. I got two ghost peppers off prior to this harvest the other day, and so what I did, I took all these peppers wearing gloves. You don't. I've learned not to handle the jalapenos are not a problem. I've learned not to handle habaneros and ghost peppers in any way, shape, or form without gloves on because it'll bite you at some point. You'll get, you'll
Nah.
get, yeah, you'll touch, you'll touch something that you'll wish you hadn't touched.
You got that right. And other
So,
things.
yeah, so I sliced I topped all these guys. I sliced them in half, and then I just used my thumb, sort of, and where's my next picture? These are out of order too. I got the ribs and the cores out of all these, and then I diced them all very finely, and put them on sheet trays, and I took them outside and let them sun dry. The habanero and the ghost only needed to be out there for one day, and they were dried enough to put in jars. The jalapenos, I put them out there a second day to get them good and dry. So what I do is I just put those in jars, and I use them for whatever I might need to use them for. You can very easily rehydrate these with just a little bit of warm water. And most of the time, when I want to use something like that, I'll just use them dried. Like if I want to put jalapenos in my macaroni and cheese or something, I'll just put them in there like that. They're not going to leach enough moisture to do much with it. I don't know what I'm going to do with these ghost peppers. There was a picture we skipped by here a minute ago. I put one ghost pepper in a 16-ounce salad dressing bottle with peanut oil, and I've been sampling that. I just put them in there yesterday, or was it? No, it was the day before yesterday. I put it in there, and I've been sampling that oil just with a little drop on the tip of my finger, and I sampled it yesterday, and I could taste. I could act. That may be the first time I've ever been able to taste what a ghost pepper is supposed to taste like. I could taste the characteristics of that pepper's flavor because I did not put this pepper in hot oil. I did not steep the pepper in hot oil to get that oil infused quickly. I tasted it again today, and it's definitely a little hotter today than it was yesterday. So I'll taste it. I'm going to taste that daily and see if that's going to get too hot to do anything with. I just don't know where that's going to end up yet, but I wanted to use a neutral flavored oil so I could taste the pepper. And I think the peanut oil might have been a good choice there. Have you ever played with ghosts, Jeff?
Yes, I have.
What have
It's
you done with these
sad to
smokes?
say I have. Yes, I use
What have
Ghost
you done?
on Szechuan.
You use it in Szechuan cooking?
Yeah, because I
Are
used to
you
like not so much anymore, but I used to like my Szechuan nuclear.
right? Are you using them fresh? Or are you using dried or powders or what?
No, I used fresh.
Uh, I'm sure you've probably got an easy local source for fresh ghosts probably year round down there.
Oh yeah, Publix has them down here year round.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen ghosts in any of my local shops. I've seen habaneros, and habanero is probably the hottest pepper I've seen locally. The peppers that I can get here easily are jalapenos, serranos, uh, habaneros, uh, ancho. Sometimes I can get what are the right the red jalapenos, chipotles.
Yeah, Chipotle.
That's something else I'm going to try. I had a couple of those on the vine that had turned red out here that I haven't done anything with yet. I'm going to experiment some with that because it is a different flavor profile when you let those things go to red on the vine or on the plant. So maybe since I've got a pretty good supply of the jalapenos now, I'll let some of those other ones turn red and work those out, and maybe even try to smoke some of them. I could split those in half and put them on the smoker and then let them dry.
Yep.
You think I could come up with my own chipotle powder that way?
I don't see why you couldn't
Yeah,
use that coffee mill grinder.
yeah.
That'll fix them right up.
We'll see. I might give that a try. And I don't think I need any more jalapenos. I've got a, a 2 pint jar back here full of dried, finely diced jalapeno peppers, and that's more than I'm going to need for quite a while. But we'll keep this. Honor, I'm glad you could make it. Cindy's here too. Russ Jones is asking where you live, Jeff. It's Russ is with us again tonight.
Yeah. I live in second home of Mickey Rat, Orlando.
And no, I haven't tried those smokehouse crackers, Russ. I'll have to look at that. No, Tom, we're not using Tanya's coffee grinder for hot peppers.
Why is Tom always stirring the pot trying to get
That's
us in
just because
trouble?
that's what Tom does. That's Tom's mo. But yeah, these peppers are hot. But I cord those, and I've got these guys put away, and I'll be able to use them. I'm going to find something to do with these ghost flakes. I'm just not sure what it's going to be yet. It's going to require some experimental
I would
stuff.
take those ghost flakes and powderize them.
I think that's what I'd like to do. I'm going to do that with some of these, and I think I would like to experiment. And Tanya's going to kill me. Let me bring Tanya in here so she can have her 2 cents on this. Tanya, I would like to experiment with ghost pimento cheese.
Okay. So who are you feeding it to?
Well, hopefully I can make some that where it's not overpowering. We'll have to start small and work our way up. And see, we'll have to. This is something where I'll figure it on a ratio. I'll weigh how much I put in there, and if it's not enough, we'll use a few more grams the next time around. We'll have to experiment with it. But
That's why I say I would powderize it.
Because Tanya, the last time we were at Ashe County Cheese, didn't we buy a block of ghost pepper cheddar?
I don't remember. That's been so long ago.
Okay. Well, all right. We'll bring you back, Tanya. But Tanya loves pimento cheese, and I know she would get upset if I even talked about changing the way I make it. So that's where I ended up. And there they are. I took them outside and set them in the sun and let them sun dry, and that works very well. So the reason I was talking about the peppers was because it's leading into what I decided to do with my smoked cream cheese. and a I made smoked cream cheese, but I wanted to feature these things in my sauce. This Bon Maman preserves, guys. If you haven't tried this brand of preserves, I highly recommend you do. And if you can find this pineapple passion fruit one, start with that one. That is, it's so delicious. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to make a sweet hot sauce to go on top of my smoked cream cheese. So those are the ingredients I wanted to start with. So yesterday, uh, I took an 8 ounce block of cream cheese and I put it, I opened it up. I set it in one of these little small Lodge cast iron dishes, and I put it in the freezer for about 20 or 30 minutes to help firm that cheese up. I've discovered that if you do that, it makes it a lot easier to score the top of this without making a mess where the cheese is too soft. Ryan, I got that one in at an Ingles grocery store, which I don't know if you have Ingles where you are, but if you don't, uh, try Publix. Publix, I think, carries this brand. And let me get Tanya back. Tanya may know where else we can find that. Tanya, where would Ryan need to look for
World
that?
Market.
World Market, Ryan. If you, that's right. The first of those that I bought came from a World Market. If you have one of those near you, try them as well. And those are about $5 for a jar. Uh, Huzaifa, good to see you back. Yeah, we're doing this on Thursdays now, so glad you could join in. Huzaifa's out on the left coast, out there with Anurag. Anurag's on his left coast stint, uh, so Ryan, I'm not sure where to tell you. You might can get them directly. They might sell direct, but you don't have to do this with that preserve. You can use any kind of preserve you want for this. And I just, if you can get that one, I recommend trying it. But you can do it with anything. So
And Ryan, you can't buy those direct. Just go out to the website.
but I don't know, Ryan. If you can't get them locally, I don't know if I'd recommend buying them online because then you're going to be stuck. Because you'll find that that'll end up being your favorite one because it's crazy good. But anyway, after I scored it, I shook on some of the Man Cave Magic #2, which is my pork rub, my sweet rub. We're getting there, Wesley. I'm going to walk through this whole process. So at this point, I've got I cooked this one on the Kamado Joe, and I was running the Kamado Joe at 225, and I put it on here. I had a couple of chunks of cherry wood in there. Cherry's a really nice light smoke profile, and I went for 2 hours at 225 degrees on this. So yeah, the Cheez Its were 1 hour, and this one was 2 hours. I don't know why that's in there. Oh, this is a video looking at the Cheez Its on the bark. It's in the wrong position also. So there's the Cheez Its smoking on the bark that should have been in the last picture set we looked at. So to get started making the sauce, well, after I put the cream cheese on the Kamado, I started making my sauce. And what I did was in a saucepan, I melted about a tablespoon of butter. And once the butter was melted, I diced that one jalapeno pepper. I diced it up really finely. And once the butter got hot, I put the jalapeno pepper, or I'm sorry, this is a habanero pepper, not jalapeno. I dumped the habanero in there and I backed my heat down to about medium. And I stirred this fairly constantly for about 5 or 6 minutes because my objective here was to bring the heat and the flavor out of the pepper into the butter. That was the trick here. And when we get to the end of this, I'm going to tell you an alternative way you can do this. But I wanted to get that flavor working before I mixed in the preserves. So after that had a chance to happen, I dumped in this whole jar of the pineapple passion fruit preserves, and I got here a quarter of a cup of whiskey. I've got about a teaspoon of lemon juice, and then about a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. I put all of that in there with it and just stirred it until it got smooth. And I left it on medium heat, which is on my stovetop setting. That's about a four, 4.5, maybe five, and until it came back up to a simmer. And once it came up to a simmer, I let it simmer uncovered for about 10 minutes to let it. That's long enough to cook the alcohol out of the bourbon or out of the whiskey and leave the whiskey behind. So, and then after that 10 minutes, I put the lid on and took it off the heat, and I just let it sit there on the stove top. Uh, David, that's a Lodge cast iron piece. You can get them in most places that sell Lodge. Those Amazon has them. Mine were a gift. I got mine for Christmas, and mine were bought through Atlanta Grill Company. And I highly recommend having. I've got those small rectangular ones like that, and I've got the small oval ones as well. Those things are great, but they're made by Lodge, so they're easy to find. Anybody that sells the Lodge line is going to have those. So 2 hours later, this is what I've got on the Kamado Joe. That cream cheese is not going to melt. I don't know how hot you got to get cream cheese to melt it because I've never done it. Jeff, how hot would I have to go to have turned that into a liquid?
Don't know, John. Never done it.
But this, you can see how the heat, kind of pulled it apart.
It looks pretty soft there.
Yeah, you can see how the color's changed in here. It's gotten yellowish from picking up the smoke. And so what I did next is I took that little cast iron piece out and I set it in the middle of that's my 12-inch Lodge Black Lock skillet. I just set it in the middle of it. This would be a great presentation for a party or a tailgating or a game day or whatever. And I just dumped my crackers. I can't remember what kind of crackers these are. These are the
pita.
They're what?
The pita.
They're pita chips, but are they Ritz or Keebler or what?
They're Keebler, I believe.
They're really good, and they work pretty good with this. So, anyway, I set it up like that, and then I spooned on some of that sauce. And let me tell you guys, that sauce is crazy. That sauce has got a nice level of heat. It's not over. Well, actually, Tanya didn't like this sauce as much as I did. Tanya, let's get your opinion on the sauce before I talk more about it.
It just tasted weird to me.
Tanya, I have to also admit here, Tanya didn't get to taste this sauce. She tasted my first batch, and my first batch did not have the lemon juice or the salt in it. I went back on my second batch. The first batch I did was a test batch. The second batch I did had the lemon juice and the salt. So there's that difference. But Tanya said it had a weird flavor. What kind of weirdness did it have for you?
Well, it wasn't so much a flavor as it was, I have texture issues. And so I was, trying this cold, not hot.
Yeah.
And
it was cold.
It tasted it felt rubbery. And then there was the pieces of the peppers in it. And it was kind of like, oh,
okay.
It just was not pleasing on the palate.
So when I made that batch, I wasn't planning to use it. And I put it back in the empty preserves jar and put it in the refrigerator. And when I did that, it firmed back up just as tight as the preserves were when I started. And that also gave me the information I needed to make my second batch. That says I've got enough room to put some more liquid in it. My second batch had twice as much bourbon in it as the first batch, and plus it had the lemon juice. My first batch had 2 tablespoons of bourbon and no lemon juice, and my second batch had 4 tablespoons of bourbon plus a teaspoon of lemon juice. And I didn't put that back in the refrigerator, so I don't know if it would have tightened up quite as much or not. But Yeah, Tanya, it was a tech. How was the heat? Could you feel the habanero in that?
I don't know that I can feel the heat from it in that first one I tried. It was just the chunk.
Okay,
It just kind of reminded me of Jello molds from the 70s.
right.
Oh.
Okay, all right. So we're not getting an objective view here. We're getting subjective, but that's okay. But anyway, I this one to me was fantastic. This thing, one of the things. Let's see what Ryan's got there. Yes, Ryan, it was still warm. Mine was still warm because I hadn't refrigerated what I did for this. I had left it on the stovetop in the saucepan, and it had just sat on the stovetop in the saucepan for 45 minutes or so before I put it on here. It was not hot when I put it on there, but it was warm. It was still warm. Uh, but if you were, and what I said in the video is I said, if you can make this a day in advance, I would do that. But if you do that and put it back in the refrigerator, I would put it back in a saucepan and heat it back up and loosen it up before you put it on here. So the alternative method of making this that I haven't tried yet is you saw that I did the butter. I cooked the habanero peppers in the butter. And the reason I wanted to do that is because that's going to extract habanero flavor and heat into the butter fat during that process. And it's going to make it easier for that flavor and heat to distribute throughout those preserves when I'm simmering it. If you want a different experience, you could hold back the diced habanero until you put you could just heat your pan, dump the preserves in, the bourbon and the lemon juice and the salt, and heat that up to a simmer, and then put your diced habanero in there at that point, and that would probably not distribute the heat and the habanero flavor as evenly. And I'm not saying, I think that might be a good experience. You might have a nice sweet sauce with little firecrackers in it. Jeff, you know what I'm saying there? You think that would
Yep,
that
I
that
agree.
would be an alternative interpretation of that sauce? So there's that to think about. But you could make this sauce. One of the other things I wanted to mention, that sauce is good for a lot of things besides smoked cream cheese. Uh, you could glaze a ham with that. You could
Pork
glaze
tenderloin.
pork tenderloin. Uh, I'm
I'm almost wondering how that would be on a chicken, John.
I was just sitting here thinking about chicken. I don't know because I don't I'm not used to chicken and sweet coming together. It's not something I would be afraid to try, but
Well, in the Chinese or Jap in the Chinese, you've got your orange chicken. That
yeah, that chicken's breaded and deep fried, so
true.
that's a different kind of setup and a different kind of taste. I don't know. It might be work. It could be something good because that sweet and sour sauce that you find in these Chinese restaurants is something I like.
Hmm.
I'm not opposed to that. But Tanya, what would you think? Something you could what could you do with something like that?
Well, I'll tell you what I would do with it. I would get myself a tortilla and I would put some brie on it and some mozzarella. Then I would put that on it and I would grill it up and have me a really tasty quesadilla.
So you put it in a quesadilla.
Yeah.
You could line the quesadilla. You could smear some of that on a quesadilla. David, I've never tried this with low fat cream cheese. Low fat cream cheese is something I've never bought. Uh, I don't see why it wouldn't work. And Jim, yeah, I think you could put this on ice cream too. Uh, I've seen a lot of sweet and spicy things go on ice cream that I think would be good. I wouldn't have any problem with that. So, But like I said, I've not tried that with low fat cream cheese, but I don't see where you would have a big difference. Does low fat cream cheese have a tighter texture, Jeff, than the full fat kind?
I think it might be a little tighter, but what I like is, that 3 pound block that I was telling you that's at Costco, it is
Yeah.
a very tight, dense cream cheese.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think it's a cream cheese that I would say I'd want to use in a cheesecake, but it is a cream cheese that works very well in the keto chicken white chili and also
Yep.
for doing the smoking. It really holds together when you uh, slice it down, into put your crisscross hatch on it. It holds
Right.
up real well. It doesn't try to fall apart on you or close back in
So
on you.
these are guys. These are cooks that I got ideas from you guys to do. You were pretty keen on the idea of during football season doing some stuff that's game day sort of thing, and I'm going to try to continue this. And we also a couple weeks ago we talked about doing hummus, and I'm still. I might try to get the hummus. Jeff doesn't want to do hummus. Jeff, I got to do it because I want to do a
You
smoked
just
hummus.
knock your socks off, John. I have tried every type of I shouldn't say every type. I've tried 3 or 4 different types of hummus. I was so excited. I got this new hummus from the store, and I said, "Oh, this is going to be good." We walked out of the store, took a cracker, dunked it into the hummus, took a bite, spit it out, put the bag, everything in the garbage. Didn't even make it to the car
Well, Jeff,
because it wasn't worth the trip
grocery
home.
store hummus. Or Jeff, are you saying that I can't do better than grocery store hummus? I
John,
think
I'm telling you,
Tanya, I think Jeff has thrown down the gauntlet here.
the gauntlet has been tossed because I'm telling you, I'm just not a hummus.
Jeff,
Yes.
everything bagel hummus.
Okay, you knock
Well,
your
we
socks off.
talked about one of the things I
And I
talked
like
about.
chickpeas. I don't like hummus.
Well, specifically, when we talked about hummus a couple weeks ago, I was tossing around the idea of a roasted garlic and habanero hummus. And Anurag, I was just thinking, Anurag, when you said that, when you said you love hummus, I don't see why you couldn't do a curry hummus, and put some of the Indian flavor into that because, like hummus, in my opinion, is like chicken or tofu. It's a palette for whatever paint you want to sling on it, and
Okay, well, John, we'll just say this. You can have all of my hummus you want. Feel free. Knock your
well,
socks
I
off.
might I might take it. I watched since we discussed hummus a few weeks ago. I've looked at some YouTube videos on making hummus, and unfortunately, every one of them that I saw that I thought was amazing and fantastic, they were starting with dried chickpeas. And I have looked around and not been able to find dried chickpeas at any of my local outlets. I can get canned chickpeas all day long, but all of these people are starting out with dried chickpeas. So
They can start out with dry. They can start out with wet. It doesn't matter to me because it's not going in my tummy.
see, hey guys, Jeff's not like me. Jeff's not willing to try new things and try
No,
to
no,
make
no, no.
try.
Jeff is like Mikey. He'll try anything once and twice if he likes it.
Well,
The
see now,
operative
Jeff.
word is
Jeff,
twice here.
hey Jeff, you remember what I did with sweet
Brussels
potatoes, right?
sprouts.
And Brussels sprouts. I worked at it, and I tried them more than once. I challenged myself to find a way to like Brussels sprouts, and I'm there. I know how to prepare Brussels sprouts that I like now. The same
Well,
thing with sweet potatoes.
I told you if you just do them the way told you to do them, you'd like them.
Well, see, now I'm going to be
Pork
able to
fat
tell you
rules,
the
buddy.
same. I'm going to be able to tell you the exact same thing about hummus before long. You just
Well,
got to do it my way, and you'll like it.
I tell you what, you get the recipe that you like that just turns your little soul on, and I'll give it a try.
Well, I'm going to
Because I'll
play
try
with it.
anything once.
Sesame
This sounds
paste.
good.
Anurag, I need for him to adopt me because his ideas are inspiring. That sesame paste, man, that sounds good too because I love the flavor of sesame. Ed says you might not like tahini, and
I
Tanya
love
loves
tahini.
tahini. I know Tanya loves it. Tanya, and that's another thing, guys. If I do hummus, am I going to be held to a standard where I need to make my tahini from scratch, or am I going to be able to use a prepared tahini when I do that? Tell me what you think, because
Wow.
it's
Dude,
one
I
of
got
those
some tahini
situations.
up here right now. It's ready to roll.
Yeah, so I don't know what the right answer to that is. I'm going to look at it some more, but I need to look at it hard over the weekend because, first of all, if I can't find dried chickpeas, I'm going to have to use canned. And what I want to do is smoke that. I want to put the chickpeas in the smoke before I process the hummus. I want to bring some smoke to the table. And
Hey, Ryan, what was your first hint?
what did Ryan say? Did I miss it?
But
Yeah.
Jeff doesn't like
Tahini.
hummus.
Yeah,
What
he's
was your
wrong.
first hint, Ryan? Was it subtle? Did it stand out there?
Cindy says I can buy tahini. So I need
Yeah.
to Tanya. I bet what Tanya. What are my chances of buying tahini in the culinary vacuum in which we live?
Oh my God, you poor thing. I buy it all the time.
Where does it come from?
Ingles has it.
Okay, so we'll use tahini because the making the tahini would be more complicated than making the whole rest of the hummus if you're going to make that from scratch. So, but like I said, Monrog's got a good idea there.
And Tom, yes, I like doing pork rinds with cream cheese, dips, using it for panko, breadcrumbs.
John, we tried hummus at that one place in Statesville. Remember
Yeah,
they had three varieties of hummus?
and it was on their appetizers menu, and
Hmm.
they gave you some chips, and all of them were good. They had one that had sun dried tomatoes, and I don't remember
Hmm.
what the other two were, but I do specifically remember the one that had sun dried tomatoes in it, and they were
Well,
delicious.
you could add sun-dried tomatoes to anything, and it's going to be
Honorog
delicious.
says tahini is best bought in a jar, so that's what I'll do. Does yours come in a jar, Tanya?
It does.
Okay. So yeah, we'll get some hummus going, and
And hummus is a dish best not served.
I'm gonna change Jeff's mind.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for
Well,
this. I want this,
so
John. Walnut and red pepper dip.
walnut and red pepper. Well, I'm not sure what that is. It's a walnut red pepper dip. Because you know how I am with nuts. But I'm assuming
Hmm.
those nuts are probably pureed.
Hmm.
So it's probably just
It'll be
bringing
like
the
a
raw.
walnut butter.
Can I buy walnuts locally?
God, I would like to think so,
Of
John.
course.
Any of your
I don't.
grocery stores are going
Where
to have
He's
walnuts.
so dramatic when
are
it comes
they?
to
No,
this
I don't know because
to
walnuts are
the
so. I don't know.
culinary wasteland that we live in.
That
I don't know
in
about
in the
walnuts.
baking
I've never
section,
bought
there's
them.
walnuts.
When I think about nuts that I've bought pecans, I've bought almonds, and I've bought peanuts, and I don't know that I ever bought. I bought some chestnuts last Christmas season, and I know those are hard to find locally.
John, does your grocery store sell brownie mix?
Brownie mix, I'm sure they
Yeah.
do.
Well, right next to the brownie mix, I guarantee you're going to find walnuts. Right, Tanya?
John,
Okay,
I have 2 pounds of walnuts up here right
okay.
now.
Well, we'll see. I'll figure something out because I want to do a smoked hummus simply because I've not seen it done before. I did some searching and I didn't find smoked hummus.
Smoked hummus might be a game changer.
Well,
Hmm.
I don't know that it would be a game changer. It would be for a specific palate though, which is what most of us have. Most of us enjoy smoke on a lot of things that other people wouldn't think of putting smoke to. And I'm I still think I might like to initially try the roasted garlic and habanero hummus. So
Anurag, is bourbon considered a grain that I might like?
bourbon's a processed grain. It is. It's corn, malted barley, and
He said make it with a grain that you like.
yeah. Well, maybe I can put some bourbon in the hummus. Maybe we can work that in.
Oh Lord.
You can't
So
take me
yeah,
anywhere. You can dress me up, but you can't take me out.
next week, guys, and guys, next week you'll get to see. This is something I don't normally do. I don't do this often at all, but I will make a smoked hummus video, and it will be a first one. I don't normally like to do videos where I haven't tried something before. That's why I was in here making, like I said, I made a test batch of the sauce that I was going to put on this smoked cream cheese to find out if it was going to be usable or not before I did it. But whatever we're going to come up with on the smoked hummus video is going to be a first round. It's going to be an alpha. So we'll try it. But I'll watch some YouTube videos of how people make their hummus, and I'm going to do roasted garlic. And I'm going to do it with roasted garlic, habanero, and I don't know. Maybe I could do a combination. Maybe I could do habanero and jalapeno. I would like for my hummus to have a little bit of spiciness to it, because the hummuses that I've tasted in the past are not what I would call stand up and shout flavors. They've been relatively mild. Uh, Zahav, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Maybe that was close. So uh, we'll figure that out. But anyway, guys, appreciate you hanging out with us this week. We'll be back. I talked to Chef Eric a couple weeks ago. He said he'd like to come back on. I may rattle his cage, and I don't know where he is or what he's doing right now, but I'd like to get Chef Eric back on with us sometime soon, and we'll shoot at it from there. And if you've got any suggestions for additional things beyond the hummus that you'd like to see for game day, leave me a comment. Let me know what that is. I did smoked CHEEZ ITS, and the smoked cream cheese we talked about. We're going to do hummus. I did the pretzels and beer cheese. So let's come up with some additional ideas of what you think might be something fun to do game day. You know, what's a game day or Super Bowl party type of treat you'd like to cook on the grill. Tanya, I need you to help me with this too. I want to come up with something that you would enjoy. So think about that a little bit.
I will.
Maybe, I haven't done what they affectionately call atomic buffalo turds in a really long time. That might be something my jalapeno peppers that I'm growing out here are small. They're not as large as some of the ones I see in the grocery store, and it's harder to do an atomic buffalo turd with small jalapeno peppers, because I like to put that little smoky on there, and my jalapenos aren't quite large enough to pull that off. Smoked bean and corn salsa. Okay, I'm with you, Anurag. A smoked salsa would be something worth doing, but that one, buffalo chicken dip. What are you thinking, Brian? What's the base of that dip? Talk to me. I'm with you. So buffalo chicken dip, smoked bean and corn. Black beans and corn, what I think are requirements. And Tanya, you don't care for beans in your salsa, do you?
Oh no, I like the corn and smoked beans. I just don't like my beans to be squashed and
Right.
refried.
Well, these wouldn't be.
You don't like refried beans, in other words.
No,
No.
it doesn't. Taco Bell has to leave refried beans off of Tanya's stuff.
So you don't like refried beans, but you'll eat hummus.
Hmm.
Consistency,
It's
texture is
a
about the
different thing.
same.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
different thing though.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
that
One's
different.
not hot, and
Tanya,
it's not a certain shade of brown.
you just got called out, Tanya. Those are very similar in
So,
texture.
Hey, but now wait. In Tanya's defense, I like refried beans, but I don't have anything for
Chili.
see
hummus.
there.
Okay. The Onyx collection says do chili.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
He also said corn is best processed by a pig.
do we
I
need to
agree.
do chili? I
Oh
love
boy.
chili and I love making chili and I make great chili. Maybe
Dawn,
it's
there's something
Tanya.
I would like for you to make.
Maybe I
What's
need to
that,
make
Tanya?
a new condiment chili.
Oh, that's good too.
Cowboy
Well, this
caviar.
is what I'd like for you to make. And I don't know what part of it can be put on the grill or whatever. You'll have to figure that out. But when I was up at Carnegie Mellon, I had this crab wonton nachos. It was like a deconstructed crab rangoon, and it was so freaking good.
I
And it
love
had
crab rangoon.
chili
Were they deep
sauce
fried?
on it.
They were deep fried though, right?
Well, instead of nachos, they used the wontons and they deep fried those. And then they made that incredible stuffing that it was outside all over the top. And then they made this like smoked chili sauce and garnished the top of it with it. Oh my God. I was
Cindy,
licking the plate on that.
Cindy, I don't know
I
what
can have that.
cowboy caviar is. Tell me what that is. I'm
I
not
do.
familiar with that one. What is it, Tanya?
Oh, it's really good. Kind of think of it as a more expansive salsa. It usually has like corn and black eyed peas and it's like onions and jalapenos in it, and you dip it.
It's almost like a Tex-Mex salsa.
Okay. Yeah.
See right here, Cannon is with me on this one.
Crab wonton
Oh,
nachos.
God. It was off the hook. It
All right,
really
I'm gonna
was.
Tanya, help me with that. You're gonna have to send me a link or help me figure that one out. I'm having a hard time visualizing that. And also, if it's deep fried, I'm having a hard time figuring out where my audience is on deep fried. Deep frying is not something I do a lot of here. I can do it. I've got the stuff to do deep frying, but this is man cave meals. I can do whatever I want. It doesn't have to.
Exactly. It doesn't necessarily have to be all on the grill. And I'm
Okay.
promising
Well,
you guys, these things are so amazing.
I've got a
That
setup where I can do some deep frying. Maybe. I wonder what happens if you put Well, I don't want to talk about that. Never mind. I know that won't work. I'm trying to figure out how you bring a smoke flavor to something that's deep fried, and I know you
well,
can't.
what they did is the smoke flavor came from this like sweet, spicy chili sauce they made. It was a smoked, sweet, spicy chili sauce.
So the sauce that went on top of these
Yes,
things
and it was
had
drizzled
smoke in
on
it.
top of this.
Okay, well that's doable. Because guys, you're going to hate me for saying this, but I've got this wonderful item in my cabinet over there called liquid smoke that you can do all kinds of amazing things with. Don't hate on liquid smoke, guys. It's something. Oh, smoked deviled eggs. Okay, deviled eggs is coming because I like that and I can do that. And you can put some smoke on deviled eggs, and you basically this is something I've thought about in the past and never tried it, but you just need to make your deviled eggs and then put them in the smoke for a little bit, and then yes, we can do that.
The cream cheese could be smoked. Yes.
Yeah, but being inside that wonton, you're not going to get to
It's
experience the
not
aroma.
inside.
Okay.
That's the brilliant
The,
thing.
the wonton is just like
It's just
the
like
cracker for the dipping.
it's your
Okay.
tortilla.
All right. Well, Tanya, help me. Tom will let Tanya help me figure this one out and
That's
let her show it to me, and we'll figure something out. I'm still having a hard time visualizing this concept because it's out of my wheelhouse in terms of visualizing it. Tanya's had it, so she knows what she's talking about, and I haven't. So, okay, we've got a couple of good ideas here. Ryan, okay, yeah, Ryan says you can't go wrong with anything deep fried. Ryan, I'm with you on
exactly.
that. And something else, there's a couple of other things. Guys, way back in the early history of Man Cave Meals, I did a thing called, I think it was called beer glazed pepperoni.
Oh, that was
This
good.
this is from a long time ago. You'll want to go back to the Man Cave Meals YouTube channel, and if you'll go to that channel and do a search for pepperoni and skip the ones that have pizza associated with it and find that beer glazed pepperoni, that's another phenomenal game day food. Uh, it's not smoked in any way, but the end result's off the hook. It's delicious. It's something you can do in a crock pot, but I didn't do mine in a crock pot. And that video is from way back before. I think that video may have been. I don't know if that was before it was before I was doing Kamado Joe hardcore stuff. So it's an old video. I may pull that one out and post it. I might just pull that one out and post it on the Man Cave Mills Facebook page sometime soon, just to give it some additional lift. It's a really good video. But all right, I know we're running long again. We always run long. We ought to just plan for this to be an hour and a half, and then we'll finish up early. We'll finish up
Or
early.
we'll go 2 hours.
No,
Oh,
we
goodness.
can't do that because I'm tired. I'm tired by the time this gets done. And after I've had usually what ends up being a triple in the bourbon community, I'm ready to go to bed when I'm done with this live stream. 9 years ago, Russ has already gone out there and found it. So it's a 9-year-old video. But those pepperoni are delicious. Tanya, that video is so old. I made that. I believe I made it in the Calphalon saucepan.
Oh, wow. That is old.
Yeah, I got rid of those saucepans. Uh, Calphalon was a good idea when I bought it, but after I cooked in Calphalon for a few years, I was not a fan of the anodized aluminum. They were not very durable in terms of what kind of utensils you can use in them, and I probably didn't treat them as gingerly as I should have.
This is true. But
And
you know what? It was a perfect pot to do that in.
yeah, back in the '90s, $80 was a lot of money to spend on a saucepan,
Hmm.
and that's what I
That's
spent. I
true.
bought two. I liked them so well, I bought two of them, and yeah, I don't have any of that anymore. So yes, the beer glazed pepperoni is a good one. So
Hmm.
we'll figure out a couple of things. I think I would like to do something else with. I did this another video a long time ago that were pretzel wrapped brats. Those things were really good. I may post that up, and a kiss apron.
I mean, that's worth watching
Oh,
right
the
there.
kiss the
I'm
cook.
just
It was the
saying.
kiss. Yeah, that's old school. That's from way back in the early days of Man Cave Meals. The kiss the cook apron. And no, I don't still have that apron either. That 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 got tossed out several revolutions back when I was having to get rid of old stuff to make room for new stuff. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't remember. Tanya, you know what? I bought that apron at the Kiss
At the
gift
kiss
shop,
store.
the
Yeah.
Kiss coffee shop in Myrtle Beach, when you and I were down there the month
Yeah.
after we had been in Hawaii, and that was in 2009,
2010, I think.
2010. It's
Hmm.
it's been a while. We went to Hawaii for a week, and then we came back, and the next month we spent a few days in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. It's kind of fun.
Do something with chicken drumsticks. Uh, you know what, Anurag, I would like to do? I would like to do those chicken lollipops that Jacques Pepin does with the wing. Have you seen those? They're little. I don't know how to describe it. He makes a little chicken lollipop that looks like a little drumstick out of the wing by pulling the. He pulls the small bone out of the wing and rolls that chicken down on the. Which, yes, we'll figure it out. Drumsticks. I love drumsticks. I love the dark meat on chicken. That's the leg quarter is where I live on the chicken. The thigh and the leg. Same way with turkey, but that I don't know what I can do with drumsticks. Maybe I need to do just a basic fried chicken, or I could do a grilled fried chicken. There's a lot of ways to do fried chicken on the grill where it's not deep fried and it's just roasted. You do a light breading on the chicken and roast it on a grill at a high temperature, 450, 500. So yeah, there's something there. But okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back through all these comments. So
But look at this. They are called drums of heaven in India.
yeah, so those are really neat. I remember
Beautiful thought.
Jacques Pepin did a video on how to debone a chicken, and one of the things he did when he took the wings off was he made these little lollipops out of that wing, and that would be something kind of neat because that's a great. They're the perfect size for finger food. They're a drumstick's not really a finger food, or with the chickens I get around here. I have to really work hard to find chickens around here that are in the 4 to 4.5 pound range. They're 6 and 7 pounds in the grocery store, and I like the smaller chickens. And I did a chicken cook earlier this week. I'm doing a product review on a new product that ThermoPro is putting out that I think I'm hoping is going to excite you guys when I show it to you. I can't show you anything yet, but I can tell you what I'm doing. It's a new product that ThermoPro's got that is it's their version of a Meter Plus. It's a Bluetooth wireless thermometer, and they advanced me one of these things, and I've done a review and demo video on it that won't be published until late in the month of September. It's going to be like the 25th, so it's going to be about 10 days out till that video gets published. But I had a Meter Plus. I gave my Meter Plus to a friend of mine because I didn't like the performance of it. The Bluetooth performance on it was horrible, but the Bluetooth performance on this guy is superb. I can go anywhere in my house or on my property and not lose a Bluetooth signal with this thing. And I couldn't go from my grill deck to my desk, which is on the same level with the meter without losing it. So I'm excited about showing you guys this thing when it comes out. So anyway, we're going to wrap up. My week of cooking is over. I'm going to the mountains. I'm going to work with Tanya tomorrow, just to go, and I'm going to sit in a quiet, secluded place and work on my Python programming stuff for a couple hours while Tanya's working, and then come home and wash Tanya's car and change the oil in Tanya's car, and maybe mow the grass. So y'all have a good week. Come back with me next week. I'll shoot Chef Eric a message over the weekend and see if he's interested in coming on with us next week and see what Chef's been up to. I'd like to hear it. Chef went up to the far north Arctic area with that salmon company that he deals with, and I'd like to hear some about that trip. So, and Jeff will be back before next Thursday, so we'll have Jeff back. All right, guys, we're going to close down. Y'all have a good week, and come back to us next Thursday.